Not out of hatred or anything, yeah.
Sure, I mean, you feel it's still, because some ladies say maybe before 9/11 was out of curiosity. After 9/11, maybe there's more.
Even after 9/11, I believe it was a statistical fact that more people converted and became Muslims after 9/11 than there were before, because people were so curious as to what is this religion that teaches such violent hatred. And they go and they learn what pure Islam is. And so I think after 9/11, especially in the political climate in which we live today, a lot of people are curious to find out about Islam. So. And even there's a lot of people who just don't even watch the news, and they just live in their own little world, and they see some woman walking in. I mean, just last week we had this heat wave. It was hotter than it had ever been, and I walked into an establishment, and I was covered from head to toe, and the woman just with whom I was doing business, she was asking, she said, I'm hot, and I'm not even covering fully. How can you do this? How can you do this? And so people are just amazed that, in the middle of this sweltering heat, that Muslim women can cover themselves fully. And, and so I honestly don't think it's out of just anger towards Muslims. Of course there is that, but most of the encounters that I have are just curiosity.
But sisters, we know that there's a lot of misconceptions about Islam, and especially about Muslim women.
Yes.
So, I mean, in your daily life, what are the most common misconceptions you encounter from the people that you have to deal with quite often?
It's a common misconception that
that I'm oppressed, maybe.
Yeah.
It's just like oppression, and then we just keep on explaining.
Do people say to you they think that you're oppressed?
Yes, I have actually been asked that, or if I was forced to wear a hijab. And the thing is, I was neither forced to wear a hijab or I'm not oppressed. It's just like explaining it to them why I do it. It's for myself and Allah, and what I believe in and stuff like that.
And how do you feel when you're just walking outside in the general public and you're covered? This is a question because a lot of misconceptions about Islam comes from ignorance about Islam. Do you feel more secure when you're close to your neighborhood than when you go away from the neighborhood where there's not a mosque and not many Muslim people?
I feel the same. Like, I don't feel any difference. Like, personally, I started wearing the hijab after 9/11. Right. When girls...
But that's interesting. Why did you start wearing it after 9/11?
Because a lot of the girls, Muslim girls at Stony Brook University, they were like scared. They were taking the hijabs off, and I was like, no, you should show them we're Muslims, we're not evil, we did not do whatever happened. And I was just like, this was my way of showing, like, if you have a problem, like, come ask me instead of having a misconception about it.
So do you think that a lot of people said there's some benefits for Islam and Muslims that came out of 9/11? Do you think it brought you closer to Islam?
I think it definitely did.
If I can just answer that. Yeah. I also wore hijab after September 11th, and that was, it wasn't because of September 11th, it was just the point at which I was in my life at that point. I just started college, and for people who aren't from America, just a little insight into what college life is like. It's basically just a game of cat and mouse between guys and girls, and I just wanted to protect myself from that game. I didn't want to be part of that.
But explain this, because and many times we talk about the hikmah and wisdom of the hijab as protection for the women.
Absolutely.
So how do you feel protected by wearing the hijab?
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, I'm a student. I'm going to be entering law school at Yale, inshallah, in just a few weeks. And when I encounter, male classmates, I never have to deal with anybody thinking that that the grades that I get are for a different reason, or because a lot of times women have to deal with this stigma of women who reach into high levels. Oh, she got there because of her ill character. I'm never going to have to deal with that, because it's known by just looking at me that I'm a woman of modesty, that I'm a woman who obeys God, who does not disobey God, and who does not act in an immoral manner. Another thing is that the hikmah of the hijab is something that nobody's ever going to look at me and think, oh, there's an object. There's a girl who's going to be, she's going to go to a bar with me, or she's going to go to a club. No classmate of